Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is a new series of videos where I will give you a few makeup pointers how you can improve your makeup game. Today's video is going to be based on foundation and everything that you need to know about foundation. So whether you're new at makeup or you're a pro, I'm pretty sure you'll pick something up along the way. If you're new to my channel, my name is Luz. I'm a busy mommy of 3 who loves to share her makeup and beauty advice with you guys. So if you have not subscribed, please go ahead and do so by clicking the red subscribe button down below. And if you do like this video, do not forget to give it a thumbs up. So let's get started. So the first step in your better foundation routine is to have a good base, moisturized and well prepped skin in order for your foundation to slide on beautifully, effortlessly, and just easier. So I really recommend hydrating your skin. You can use a moisturizer, you can use a cream, you can use an oil, something that's going to absorb into your skin and give you that hydration, but it's not going to leave an oily residue that can overall cause your foundation to break down on you. Once you have your skin nice and moisturized, the next thing you want to do is to prep your skin. There's so many different primers out there to help you prep your skin that are targeted for a specific area. You can use an illuminating primer if you want more of that glowy look. You can use a mattifying primer to take away the shine, especially for on the T-zone area, or if you're oily all around, you can use it all over your skin. You can also use a color correcting primer. There's so many primers out there in the market targeted for a specific area, and the great thing is that you don't have to choose only one primer. So let's say you have combination skin and you want to mattify your T-zone, but you want the rest of your skin to look nice and glowy. All you have to do is use 2 different types of primer, one for the T-zone and one for the rest of your face. So once you've moisturized your skin and prepped your skin, there's one more step that I'd highly recommend, and it is to use a setting spray prior to using your foundation. You can use one that will make your foundation last longer, such as a makeup extender. You can use one that will make your skin look nice and dewy, just depending on the overall look that you want to achieve with your foundation. So I highly recommend that you include that third step towards a very nice looking foundation. With so many tools to choose from, what is the best tool out there for a foundation? And that answer is gonna be answered by you, because I don't have your skin, you don't have my skin. Your finish that you like might not be the finish that I like. So let me give you some options here. The first method is using your hand. Don't have a brush, you can always use your hands. It is going to give you a very nice natural finish. I use my hands particularly for BB creams, CC creams, and tinted moisturizers. Who says you can't use your hands for foundation? I don't think there's any rule out there, especially if you're using it on your own skin. You do have to have clean hands though. If you're going to use your hands, and make sure to wash your hands prior to touching your face. This comes with any time you're going to touch your face. Make sure you wash your hands, put some on your hand, rub your hands together and put it on in circular motion, and that will make your foundation look nice and natural. The only issue that some people might have with their hands, specifically if you're using a full coverage foundation, is that it might leave some streaks. So that's why a lot of people like to use their brush. There is the typical flat head brush. A lot of people like this brush to apply their foundation. You can either stipple it on, or you can use it as a buffing motion. Another type of brush would be this one here. This is a newer type of brush, at least that I've seen out in the market, and it's more like a handle brush. I've heard that this type of brush is the best use when you're going to do the makeup on yourself versus doing it on somebody else. These are designed specifically to put on your own foundation. Another cool brush is this one from Tarte. This one is great because it's big and it's going to cover a whole lot of surface area. Your foundation will be done in a quick minute. So this one's nice. You want to use this in a buffing motion or in a stippling motion, depending on how much coverage you want. Another really neat tool would be the sponge. This one's a little dirty. It's not wet. I used it yesterday, so it is a little bit dirty. Once you wet it, it will expand and it'll be nice and moist. And you can either place your foundation on top of this, or you can pick it up from your hand and bounce it on top of your skin. This will give you a very natural finish. Now the issue with this will be that it'll soak up a lot of your foundation, especially if your sponge is not nice and wet. You do want to be careful when using this, just because, like I said, it will soak up a lot of your foundation. My preferred method to do my foundation is to start off with a brush and then finish it off with the sponge. This gives you a nice flawless finish without any streaks, which is something you don't want to have in your foundation. You want to make it look like your skin. You don't want to have streaks of your foundation brush, streaks of your hands, just because that's a telltale sign that you're wearing a foundation. Nobody knows this isn't your real skin, right? Right. For the sake of not having to go in through my stuff and dig out another sponge, I'm going to use the same one. So this is once it's been wet. I went ahead and squeezed out the excess moisture from it so it's nice and ready to go. It's still bouncy and it's going to be the perfect application, the perfect way to finish off the foundation. Alright, so you've moisturized your skin, you've prepped it, you put a setting spray. Now it's time for foundation. There is so many different foundations out there depending on what kind of finish you want. You can use a cream or a liquid. You can use a BB cream, a CC cream, a tinted moisturizer, a full coverage foundation, or just a medium coverage, depending on the look you're going for. That's just the consistency. You also have to think, do you want a matte foundation? Do you want a dewy foundation? Do you want to have a natural finish? Do you want a satin finish? There's so many different options. And normally this is just up to your preference. So there are a couple rules you want to stick to. Generally, if you have oily skin, you want to steer clear from illuminating or dewy foundations. If you have dry skin, you want to stay away from matte foundations. And if you just don't care, you can do whatever you want. That's what I do. So there's ways to working around a foundation. If you have oily skin and you want to use a dewy foundation, who says you can't do so? That's where your primer comes into play. If you have oily skin and you want to use that dewy foundation, just make sure you use a matte primer, and vice versa. So now that we've got those foundations covered, let's get this face covered. Who says you can't mix foundations? I always do. So if one foundation like this one is really, really matte and the other one is quite dewy, you can always mix them to create your perfect custom blend. For me, the reason why I like blending is number one, because the shade match. This one's very light, but I like it and I keep it because I know it's light and it will lighten up my darker foundations. This one is darker and it's my summer shade, but I absolutely love the finish of it. It just can be a little bit oily looking towards the end. So if you mix together these, you can create your perfect blend using the foundations you already have. Make sure you shake your foundations prior to use them, especially if you haven't used it in quite a while. See this one? It's quite of a thicker consistency and it's still considered a liquid foundation. This one's also quite thick, but it is a matte finish and it's a lot lighter than that previous one, but it is a lot more yellow tone. That's the great thing about mixing foundations. You can customize to make it your own. So I'm going to give that a quick little swirl and put that on my face. You want to apply the most where you need the most coverage. For me, that is always around the nose area and the center of the face. And you want to fade it out onto your skin using your brush, your hands, or your sponge. I'm going to wet my sponge using one of my sprays just to give it a little bit more moisture and pouncing this onto the skin. Pouncing is going to give you more coverage versus buffing is going to blend it out and shear it out. Make sure you always cover your ears and down your throat, or down your neck, I'm sorry. Where I am going to go ahead and use the buffing method to shear it towards the neck area. So now that I have the foundation all placed, this is the finished product. It is nice and even coverage all from the top of my forehead down towards the neck. As you can see, there's no line of demarcation going along the jawline, which is a telltale sign that you have a foundation on. My skin looks even. This foundation is a natural finish it's a natural finish and medium coverage, so it's not going to cover up every single part, every single blemish. That's where concealer comes into play. All done. So now that the makeup is all done and set, this is how the finished look is. As you can tell, there is no line of demarcation. There is no foundation streaks or strikes on my face. Everything looks nice and seamless, and it looks like skin. That's the finish that I choose to go for. So I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. If you have not subscribed, please go ahead and click on this little round button down here with my face on it, and it will subscribe you. And if you want to watch any of my other videos, they're here and here. So thank you again so much for watching, and have a great day.